Hey guys, First of all, Comic Book University and Thunderbolts, issue number 12. This is a really freaky story. We actually get to start off with Atlas and Jolt walking through the snow. I never thought that we were going to see these again. It was actually so long since I'd seen them. And Atlas has what looks like frostbite actually starting on his face and whatnot. And he's bruised, he's messed up, and he actually winds up dying. He dies in the cold. And I don't know if you guys remember that movie Colors. Sean Penn was in it, and there's the one scene at the very end where Anthony Hopkins, I think it was. That wasn't. Yeah, maybe it was. Anyway, he dies at the end, and he dies in a very sad way. He keeps on saying, "Let me just need to catch my breath." And that's exactly what Atlas says. He only says it one time, and it's just enough to remind me of that scene. And it was a really sad scene. Best scene in the entire movie, my opinion. Anyway, back to the actual comic book. So Jolt winds up saving him, restarting his heart. Kickstart my heart. Anyway, so enough with the Motley Crue. And so, yeah, this turns into something really wicked at this point, because they walk up and they see Kobik going crazy, blowing up the world, kind of, in a sense. And they see the Wrecking Crew is there, and they're going crazy. Basically, Baron Zemo has turned the half of the Thunderbolts into the Masters of Evil. And wow, just personally, one of my all-time favorite extended storylines in the Avengers comics. It was a really messed up time for the Avengers. And this is somewhat reminiscent of that. Like when you see Thunderbolt breaks Songbird's ribs. Just wow. Really messed up parts. And they're wrecking house. That's what the Wrecking Crew does. Ghost shows up to try and do a couple things. At the very end, he winds up saving a couple of the people. But yeah, just wow, man. Like, this was really bad. This was, in my heart, it was kind of bad. Like, here's the thing. I decided this was one of those few issues. Like, sometimes with Batman, I'll do this when I review Batman stories. And this particular time with this Thunderbolts issue, before I put up my review, I will look online to see what are other people saying. And I don't see particularly great reviews for this comic, and I'm kind of disappointed. I really am, because I thought that this comic was actually something special. I see a whole bunch of bad things being said about it. Meanwhile, the way that I look at this is kind of like the Empire Strikes Back of issues. This is, that sequel where it's not the good guys winning at the end. The good guys barely make it out. Atlas has to join the side of the Masters of Evil at this point. When push comes to shove, I don't believe that he's really a member. It's kind of like a case of mistaken identity, an accident and whatnot, but he goes with it, and I'm glad he did, because he would have been killed right there on the spot. He was in no condition to fight. So he makes it through. A couple of the others are able to make it through, but it's bad. Bucky gets kidnapped by Zemo. It's bad. And literally, this reminded me of The Empire Strikes Back. Not nearly as grand, but that was the formula I believe that was being used. So I completely disagree with every single review that I've seen, at least online. I thought that this was a very brilliant issue, the way they pulled it off. And if they didn't continue with the Thunderbolts anymore after this issue, it would be a great send-off for the small run, the short run that it was. Anyway, so Kobik winds up shattering, and this is a big deal. I unfortunately tried to read Captain America number 16, Steve Rogers, because, hey, and after they spoiled this particular thing, they said, oh, by the way, you should go back and read Thunderbolts 12 before you read this issue. So, yeah, I hope you guys at least paid attention to my warning. Make sure you read this before issue number 16 of Captain America. Yeah, Kobik winds up being shot. Now, the Fixer does the shooting, and he's making calculations on the fly. He points it out now, and he'll point it out later in Captain America Steve Rogers number 16, that it was on the fly. He made a mistake. He didn't expect Kobik to actually shatter. So it doesn't explain it in this one, but she gets shattered into 8 different pieces all across the globe. And she's essentially dead. Now, she could reconstitute, but they're not really interested in that happening. Baron Zemo's not interested in having to deal with the trials and tribulations and travails of a whining crybaby little girl. So with all the cutesy stuff that she does. So no, he's more interested in he needs the cube. That's all he needs. He wants the cube, not the girl. So as far as he's concerned, Kobik is done with. So at this point, yes, it is about time to go over and take a look at Captain America Steve Rogers issue number 16. In the meantime, I'm going to give this comic a B+. again, I do not care. I don't give two squirts about what the rest of the internet says about this comic. I thought it was handled expertly for wrapping up everything that needed to be wrapped up. This comic could end, and it's not even the worst thing in the world. I don't think it is going to. I do think I saw that there's going to be another issue, but again, it was wrapped up very well. I like the way that it was done. Anyway, guys, go over and read Captain America, Steve Rogers, number 16 now, and then Secret Empire, number 0. 0 is not really a number, so we'll just call it issue 0. All right, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.